We're the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. After Wisconsin school banned a concert piece honoring Marsha P. Johnson, a local church stepped in, hosting an independent student performance that drew hundreds and streamed worldwide.
Brooklyn police arrested Jonathan Fernandez after he fatally stabbed his trans girlfriend in her Bushwick apartment. Prosecutors charged him with murder. The case once again highlights ongoing violence against trans communities.
India's growing condom shortage linked to U.S.-Iran war trade disruptions is raising HIV prevention concerns amongst LGBTQ advocates. As prices surge, activists demand expanded free condom access.
A new Israeli LGBTQ report documents rising violence, extortion, and online abuse in 2025, including alleged Grindr ambush attacks, with transgendered people facing the majority of reported anti-LGBTQ harms.
A Milwaukee sidewalk mural by gay artist Jeremy Novi was vandalized twice in days with anti-gay graffiti. This has left residents shaken and sparked concerns about rising hate and intolerance.
All this important LGBTQ news and more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily television news show, broadcasting live and available on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 12 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Monday, May 25th. Happy Memorial Day. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community. Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America. Hotspots Happening Out South Florida.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 14,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fest. Our magazine events, television, news, talk, and entertainment shows supports our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Rex Rogosch. Rex is a visionary designer with over 30 years of experience in product design, interior design, and architecture. He performs in the drag community as International Lords and is the current reigning Mr. Scandals 2026. Ooh. Rex is the president and co-founder of Lantera, a 501c3 organization dedicated to advancing mental health awareness through inclusive, community-driven events. Welcome to the show, Rex. Oh my God, I love this new hat. You look so much different from the last time I saw you last week.
You know, I need to start bringing some more. I get scolded because, you know, we have a green screen, so there's a lot of them that I can't wear. So I now need to start branching out because, you know, you can't wear the same thing twice.
Were you scolded often as Mr. Scandals?
That would be scandalous.
Let's welcome anchor Larry Farver. Larry has over 20 years of experience in human resources, acting, film, radio, TV, live events, parade flow design, production, and casting. He is also a board member of the West Side Association here in Wilton Manors. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you gentlemen today.
Thank you. We always love having you, girl.
Thank you.
Let's welcome one of my best and well-dressed friends, anchor Dr. Bobby Huen. A world traveler and versatile in global affairs, Bobby provides an international perspective on current events. A PhD in conflict resolution, Bobby is a certified civil and family mediator and the founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. Welcome to the show, Bobby. And as we were saying earlier, just love this shirt on you, girl. You look great.
Thank you. I actually got it at a local boutique called Mix on Wilton Drive. So shout outs to Mix. And I'm sure I don't even think this should exist in the stores anymore.
Girl. We love it.
Hey, but at any rate, you look very snazzy yourself with some Psycho Bunny gear.
I never wear Psycho Bunny on this show.
Sure. Like I never wear Fred Perry, but sure.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Alex Morash. Alex has served as editor-in-chief of Options Magazine, media director of the National LGBTQ Task Force, and press secretary for the Florida Democratic Party. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Well, thank you. I love seeing all of you here. It's been days since I've seen you. Like, how was everyone's weekend? I had so much fun this Memorial Day.
I relaxed.
Same here. Went really quickly.
Aw.
I have an invitation. I had an invitation to a party by my friend on the beachfront, but I'm determined not to go to the beach. It's way too hot, and I don't like sand. Cue Star Wars montage.
I'm Alex Morash, and let's clear up the USA View. Watertown Church hosts LGBTQ-themed concert after school board bans student band performance. The piece, A Mother of a Revolution, was removed from Watertown School Concert's lineup after board members said it celebrated violence. In a statement, the board said, quote, "The board decided to remove the song from the concert due to its celebration of violence. The Watertown School Board remains committed to providing academic education free from indoctrination," end quote. The instrumental work by composer Omar Thomas honors trans activist Marsha P. Johnson, who is widely recognized as a key figure in the 1969 Stonewall Uprising that helped spark the modern LGBTQ rights movement. Junior trumpet player Clayton Fleece said students had spent months preparing the piece, and it's upsetting that it is now banned. In response, Emmanuel Evangelical Lutheran Church quickly organized an independent concert where students and community members performed the piece before hundreds of attendees. Church leaders said no school instruments or staff were involved. The event was live streamed, drawing viewers from at least 27 states and 3 countries. Well, what a very nice thing for a church to do. Who knew churches could be decent for once? But more importantly, shame on this school board. Shame for them on so many different levels. One, the idea that honoring Marsha P. Johnson is promoting violence is absolutely absurd. Marsha P. Johnson, the writer of the book Stonewall, he actually documented that she denied throwing the brick. She, in a radio interview, she can't answer this anymore because it's very likely that she was murdered for being a trans woman. But she never claimed to commit violence. And also, maybe Stonewall was the right thing, just saying. But how dare the school do this? What are your thoughts, people?
I want to know how an instrumental band concert promotes violence. There's no words, there's no songs,
there's no lyrics.
It is literally just music.
Yeah.
So
the music will motivate you to attack the state for some reason.
Well, and you look at the lyrics of one of our all-time, I think we all learned this as children in our country, the Star-Spangled Banner, bombs bursting in air. That's a standard, whether it's instrumental or not. How can they play something like that and then ban something
because
like
it's promoting the government committing the violence. That's what the
but also I want to piggyback on Rex saying that this is more this is like an instrumental. It has no words. I also want to add that the original creator of that piece, Mr. Omar Thomas, actually went to the church to conduct this piece alongside with the band, which is very commendable. And furthermore, just last week, the last show that we had here, we were talking about the prayer rally and how white evangelical influence is trying to impose Christian nationalism.
With taxpayer money, no less.
With taxpayer money. So I'm very happy that this particular church stood up and say, enough is enough. You are depriving these kids the right to play this after working it for so long. Screw your indoctrination claims. Screw your, malicious and frankly frivolous excuses of banning it just because they don't like it. I will give you one guess on the party affiliation of any of those school board members.
I'm sure.
And actually, having the kids to play an instrumental piece and by the way, I love the name, the mother of revolution.
Again, if they're trying to make sure that education doesn't have an indoctrination, then teach all of our history, not just the parts that you feel are appropriate.
Exactly.
Oh, and one more last thing before we go. The Martha P. Johnson is important because these days we have so many pick-me gays who are like, oh, let's ditch the T in LGBT so that, we won't get hurt when trans people are being targeted, violence committed, and politically deprived of their rights. A black trans woman was one of the pioneers of how you get your rights in the first place. Exactly. So stop excluding them.
And talk about her is not promoting political violence. As I said, she's denied throwing a brick at Stonewall. Now, did other witnesses say she may have climbed the stone wall and grabbed something off the building to throw down and really wreck a police car? Maybe, but that's a fun history fact for another time.
I'm Alex Rogosch, and let's queer up trans rights. This is going to be a graphic story, so please be warned. Brooklyn man charged in fatal stabbing of trans girlfriend. HRC says such violence is widespread. Brooklyn police arrested 38-year-old Jonathan Fernandez in a fatal stabbing of his 41-year-old transgender girlfriend, Erica Caldwell, inside her Bushwick apartment. According to reports, Caldwell texted 911. When officers arrived around 8:50 a.m., they heard her screaming, quote, "Help me, he's stabbing me," end quote. Before forcing entry through a window, officers found Caldwell stabbed multiple times with her throat slit. Fernandez was reportedly sitting nearby. Fernandez has been charged with second-degree murder and criminal possession of a weapon. He is being held without bail on Rikers Island. His attorney, however, claims Caldwell attacked him first and says he acted in self-defense. Caldwell recently celebrated her 41st birthday. Though unfortunate, such cases are not rare in this country. The Human Rights Campaign says more than half of transgender and non-binary people experience intimate partner violence in their lifetimes. Well, this is a sad story in general. Nobody should lose their life regardless. And unfortunately, nobody was there. So, hopefully the truth comes out. In most cases like this, they don't. It's a he said, she said situation, and she's no longer here to defend herself in court. So hopefully the evidence precludes and he gets put away. For murder in general, I don't care if it was self-defense, to be honest with you.
And this is the second time a trans woman has been murdered and reported on the national news. We just had one where that took place in Seattle, where she was murdered in an off-campus apartment in Seattle at the University of Washington dorms, and they are still trying to find the perp. And the problem is that sadly this is all too common. This is reported regularly, at least in the queer press. Mainstream press sometimes just simply don't cover it, or, people just disregard it. Or, in some dark corners of the internet, people excuse this violence because as some governments and legislators like to get together and basically just said trans people are evil. For example, Elon Musk just tweeted a debunked theory on his god-awful platform that, the San Diego Islamic Center shooter is trans. They want to pin every single act of mass shooting on trans people. Joe Rogan repeated it. They're putting targets on trans people's backs for no goddamn reason than just basically of hate and ignorance.
And I think that's, you said something that I think, unfortunately, and I hope it's not true, that this doesn't get swept under the rug because the person was trans. Again, we don't know if, she was stabbed because they were boyfriend and girlfriend. So domestic violence is rampant, unfortunately, in this country in general, especially against women. If she had been a cisgender woman, this would have been blown up everywhere. Everybody would have known about it, and they would have been really behind her because...
That's also part of the make this story so tragic and so memorable. Is one, people know I love to give the Human Rights Campaign a hard time, but they actually do a very good job of trying to track every trans murder, and they lay it all out so you can see it in one page for the year to know what's going on. And there's the disturbing amount of domestic violence murders against trans women. And I will always remind people that when we're talking about trans murders, we're almost exclusively talking about Black trans women. It is a horrific thing. I'm not saying they're the only trans people murdered, but it's an unusually large percentage of the trans community that gets murdered is Black women. And just, you want to believe people innocent until proven guilty, but when the person who was murdered was texting 911, he's trying to kill me, and then when they show up, she's not alive. I'm sorry, I'm going to go with her on this one, kid.
Correct. Correct.
I feel you. I want to do it, but this is just such awfulness.
And certainly we hope a very thorough investigation is done, which you would expect, but to have one's throat cut, as self-defense
that's beyond self-defense.
And luckily, the only silver lining that I found is it took place in New York City, which is where the perp is unlikely to get off easily.
Right.
You can find some panic excuse, or find some
stand your ground,
or find a jury that are blatantly transphobic so that he can excuse his crimes.
I hear you, but there's no way to right the taking of a life. I want viewers to remember that as an important lesson as we leave on this episode, because this was just such a tragic story. And we thank you for listening and taking part in this with us.
I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up the world view. Iran war triggers condom shortage and raises HIV concerns in India. India is facing a growing condom shortage after months of the U.S.-Iran war, raising concerns about health advocates about the potential impact on HIV prevention efforts, especially within the country's LGBTQ community. Disruptions in maritime trade through the Strait of Hormuz have strained supplies of petrochemicals and industrial lubricants used in condom manufacturing. Industry experts say that shortages of silicone oil and rising ammonia costs have sharply increased production expenses. Some manufacturers and retailers report condom prices have risen more than 30%. India's condom industry is valued at nearly $1 billion and operates on a high-volume, low-margin model designed to keep products affordable for the country's population of more than 1.4 billion people. According to India's health ministry, the country is home to an estimated 2.5 million people living with HIV, the second largest HIV-positive population in the world. The ministry reported that 5.4% of HIV cases between 2024 and 2025 involve transmission between men who have sex with men. LGBTQ activist Ankit Bhuptani warned the shortage could reverse years of progress in HIV prevention. Harish Iyer, another LGBTQ activist, urged government to classify condoms as an essential commodity and expand free distribution through programs like the Ni Rodi scheme. Well, the impacts of war and global impacts, and we're seeing, price rising, cost of living, and things rising here as a result of our involvement. I did some research, and it was interesting to see that the Narodi scheme has been around supporting condom distribution since 1968. So there's a large history there, and we can hope that the right resources present themselves with India's government and society to prevent the spread of STIs, including AIDS.
I mean, can we note that out of the 2.5 million people that are infected with HIV, that the new cases, only 5.4% were the gays. So, guys, it's not the gays. And yet the gays are being the loudest voice of saying, hey, we need to keep this going.
Absolutely.
So, yet again,
I feel like the gays are more, voices of gays are louder because we are so much more accustomed to talking about safe sex practices and condoms.
But the reason why I'm bringing it up is we have so much backlash against us that we're the ones causing these problems, that we're the ones, not doing anything about it. And this is proof that we're the smallest number of infected cases, and we are the ones still advocating the loudest for the prevention.
Well, we should be careful not to overly put the U.S. LGBTQ HIV experience right onto India. That being said, yeah, of course, we all hope that they're able to get condom production back up in India. But at the end of the day, many of the petrochemicals that India needs to produce latex and to do all sorts of other things from fertilizer is being blocked because one psycho, one boneheaded idiot decided to start a war with Iran. For the audience who is too young to remember 9/11, going to a war with Iran is such a stupid idea that George W. Bush never proposed it. Think about that. George W. Bush never wanted to go to war with Iran. That's how bad of an idea it was that man knew you shouldn't do it. And the Iranians have done such a brilliant job of taking control of the situation. They are now ending the international law where you can't block a strait. Too late. Now they can do it. I don't think they're going to end blocking the strait without paying a toll. India and Vietnam and other Asian countries are having to make all these special deals with Iran, and the U.S. says they're going to put sanctions on them for doing it. And I'm like, well, they need the oil more than they care about the U.S. sanctions. This is an absolute international crisis, and Americans don't realize that. They do not realize that, not just with this Indian condom story, but the way that they're not going to work. They're not driving in parts of Asia right now.
It's not just that. I mean, I work in manufacturing, and the oil, it's all industries. It's affecting Spain in all industries. It's affecting Vietnam. It's affecting all industries because this is where they get their fuel from to produce these items. So it's a huge trickle-down effect.
I mean, at the very least, if we talk about European supply, we can say that you can route through the Red Sea or the Suez Canal, which can give you access to the Mediterranean. The problem is that in Asia, where a lot of these products are manufactured, Strait of Hormuz is pretty much the only way in, alongside the Malacca Strait. And these are choke points in global logistics, global commerce. As the resident, international relations guy, as introduction, this war is costing trillions of dollars for no valid reason. The claim that, Iran has nuclear weapons. So does Israel. Unfortunately, it's a commonly, it's unofficial, but commonly acknowledged fact.
Did the nation that started this war also have nuclear weapons?
Yes.
Okay, so I really just want to have to emphasize people, this war is so crazy and harms so many people that, I don't know how countries like India and China are able to maintain a good relationship with the United States. It's against their interests at this point, and that's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Right, and unfortunately, like the story says, they want them to declare condoms as an essential commodity. If you do that, then where does that money come from? Where are you taking that money from? What other things are you taking the money from?
Even if you do that, if enough petrochemicals aren't coming out of the Middle East, what's it you're going to do?
Correct.
That's to me at the heart of this story, and that is a tragic story that I hope this is solved. I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up politics. Israel LGBTQ report warns of rising hate crimes and organized attacks through Grindr. A new report from the Association for LGBTQ Equity in Israel is raising alarm over what is described as a sharp increase in anti-LGBTQ violence, harassment, and organized attacks across the country in 2025. The report says at least one physical assault against a queer person now occurs every week in Israel. Physical attacks made up half of all reported public space incidences this year, up from 32% in the previous report. Reports of extortion and threats also jumped from 3% last year to over 13% this year. In a nationwide survey included for the first time, over 90% of respondents said they experienced LGBTQ phobia over the past year, but only 7% reported it. The association documented over 300 incidences of LGBTQ-phobic harm this year, along with more than 2,600 anti-LGBTQ comments and over 1,300 abusive social media posts. One of the report's most troubling findings involves alleged organized attacks targeting gay men through dating apps, mainly Grindr. The association said that it has documented more than 20 cases since 2024 in which fake profiles were allegedly used to lure victims into violent ambushes. The report also found transgender people account for about 55% of anti-LGBTQ harms, despite representing a small portion of Israel's LGBTQ community. This to me is both shocking in the violence being reported, but also shocking because I remember Benjamin Netanyahu going on and on about how, we should support the mass slaughter of civilians in Gaza because that would be better for queer people. And I remember LGBTQ groups for years in this country pinkwashing Israel, saying it's so great for LGBTQ people. And I would look at that and say, are you sure? I see instances occasionally of violence, and I see the government not always supporting LGBTQ people. And this report just continues to add to the alarming concerns of how Israel treats its LGBTQ population. Thoughts, people?
Well, according to the Times of Israel, which is itself a credible source from Israel, this is driven by two factors, two groups, distinct groups. The ultra-Orthodox, who one of their members famously, murdered a 16-year-old girl at Jerusalem Pride in 2015. After he got out of prison for assaulting another gay person. And then there's today's government. What Netanyahu claims now is no longer matching reality. Maybe back then it did. Maybe 20 years ago it did. But now his government is populated with ministers from religious Zionist parties who called himself a quote unquote proud homophobe and envisions Israel as a theocracy. So this line of excusing themselves, we are not, we're good for the gays versus Gaza, they throw queer people like you off the roof. It's a false dichotomy. The laws might be different, but in practice, they're the same.
I'm just going to say, unfortunately, we've seen a history of countries such as Israel being maybe, having less violence and then migrating toward violence. I think once we get through this administration, please God, that our country and our leadership will really put pressure on the other countries that are letting things like this slip with human rights worldwide.
I wish that I was that optimistic, but there are plenty of other countries, as in Africa, in Middle East, where we do support countries like Saudi Arabia who literally behead gay people.
Well, but then we need to look at that.
Yeah.
And we need to step back and we need to have leadership put pressure on.
No, that's very true. Absolutely. And sometimes the U.S. government has done things to try and end violent things. I noticed that the Biden administration did a lot with Sudan. They'll also remind you that when it comes to putting pressure on Israel, many members of the Biden Department of State resigned because they felt that so many human rights abuses were being done by Israel. So I don't think either party is going to do much on this.
But we've had inexplicably, politicians, and I'm sorry her name is escaping me, but traveling to Uganda. You have to look at things like that and say, who am I supporting?
No, I feel like this is one of those terrible things. And I do want to remind people, because we were discussing the issue of violence that happening to Israelis and Palestinians. Remember, if 7% of the population is queer and Israel killed 70,000 people in Gaza, that's about 5,000 queer people were killed by that government as well. So I have no idea how you solve how to deal with Israel's homophobia, but we can't let them continue to get away with the rhetoric they've been using.
I'm Bobby Huen, and let's queer up the USA view. LGBTQ artist speaks out after homophobic attacks on his Milwaukee artwork. Residents and the artists are shaken as a peaceful sidewalk art installation in Milwaukee gets targeted by repeated vandalism, including the use of an anti-gay slur. East Side resident Dana Alexander Kalata told CBS 58, quote, "Someone's clearly hurting. Someone really has a lot of anger, and that's kind of anger we don't need right now," end quote. Coletta was standing near a sidewalk mural featuring 3 koi fish painted by gay artist Jeremy Novi when she noticed the artwork has been defaced for a second time in just days. The koi, painted in black, orange, and white with Novi's signature 3D shadow effect, were originally created to bring joy to the neighborhood. After the artwork was first covered in black paint, Novi repainted the fish over the weekend, but within a day, the mural was vandalized again with fluorescent green paint and a gay slur spray painted beside it. The artist said he and the homeowner are now exploring ways to protect the public artwork from future attacks. Well, one thing, those things are gorgeous. I love it. The depth of effect is very nice. As someone who enjoys street art and I collected them in my days being that rambunctious little junior collector at Art Basel, I love street art and the works that are inspired by graffiti. And I think that Mr. Novi would do really well putting his stuff on paper and just selling it. The second thing is, people vandalize artworks just because they are bitter, angry, and disgruntled. And in this current political environment where culture is often mocked, unless it conforms to certain standards, this is unfortunately going to happen all over the country. And I don't really have a solution for that, aside from saying that maybe Mr. Novi can protect his art in some way where it can prevent itself from getting damaged.
I mean, I have to commend him for saying that this person is, there's something wrong with this person. I've said it a million times, and as somebody that champions for mental health, you're not born with hate. You're not born with homophobia. You're not born with those things. So, unfortunately, if this is the same person doing the defaming, they do have some issues that they need to work through, and I hope that, they do get some help. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do, to protect street art, and it's there for public consumption, and it's out there to unfortunately also be painted over or removed like our states like to do. So
I hear you, and there's been other instances of hate against LGBTQ people. There was a shop in London where they said similar words of this person is clearly hurting. And I feel, I respect that empathy. At the same time, I am so sick and tired of people thinking that their issues they get to inflict onto the rest of the world. I don't care what your problem is. I don't care if your mother loved you or didn't love you. That's no excuse to be going out in public and harassing people, harming people, and taking it out on everyone else. And we need to start saying that more. Mm-hmm. You have to start being a decent person in society. The people that are doing this to these koi fish paintings should be ashamed of themselves. Yeah, you probably do need to get help, but that doesn't mean we all are going to hug it out with you. Go hug it out with your therapist. My God.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm excusing it. In fact, it's defaming public property. There's consequences for that. Just like taggers tagging buildings. There's consequences for defaming public property.
I'm not upset with you. I'm upset with the people going after the koi fish and the London shop.
No, absolutely. It's a two-part thing. Yes.
So if I was upset with you, that'd be great television. My God, girl.
No, I just want people, yes, we need to be saying that. Yes, your actions have consequences, and there should be legal actions against these people if they get caught. However, I do also want to keep saying that people are not born with hate. People are not born with homophobia and racism, and you're not born with those. Those are all learned behaviors, and they come from somewhere. And we as a society need to start talking about that as well. We need to hold people accountable. People who get convicted of stuff need to be held accountable on all levels, but we also need to look at why this is happening. And somebody had to have known that this artist is gay to be able to do that. And
that was what I was thinking too.
Yeah, he had to know that this person was gay. So that means that this person knew this artist. They knew that this person was out. They had to do the research. They had to figure it out. So that's premeditation.
Oh yeah,
I think the rainbow colors on the koi can be
not necessarily.
I know
No,
that.
but,
Yeah.
But I'll close us out on this. That's just a very thoughtful insight, and I think people should think about that this Memorial Day. These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ community.
If our community is important to you, share these news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. This is the passion of Hotspots magazine, happening on television network and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Alex Morash, and I thank you for joining us this Memorial Day on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, Rex Rogosch, Larry Farver, and Dr. Bobby Huen. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we wish you a good night.